Everybody, we're officially 20 days late on doing this video, but today I am going to rank all 5 March films that I have seen in March, plus a couple in April. It's weird, you know, like, I've been so far behind in my reviews and in my videos that I have to do some weird choices, which is making this video on April 20th. Probably not going to upload it to the 21st. I don't necessarily know if I'm uploading it today or tomorrow. But dang, like, I am so far behind on this. And so, here it is. Plus, I was going to make this a couple days ago. Then I realized I should probably wait to watch Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves first. And that's what I did. And you'll see where that places here. But before I do that, comment down below. What is your ranking of the March movies you've seen? March was one of the most stacked months we had in a while. And I was basically at the theater every week. There's only one movie that I didn't get to see, or 2 movies that I didn't get to see in the theater. 65 and John Wick 4. Besides that, I saw everything I wanted to see, and even things that I didn't want to see in Fury of the Gods. And so, yeah, there was that. And with that said, comment down below your ranking. And number 5 in 5th place and last place is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And now it's important to know that I don't hate any movie on this list. In fact, I don't even love any movie on this list except number 1. But this movie right here is easily the weakest of all the films that I've seen. Sure, the first 2 acts, they're exhausting, sure, but they are fun. I enjoyed the chemistry between Jack Dylan Grazer and the Wizard. I like Zachary Levi, and even though his character wasn't as good as I thought he was in the first one, he was still fun. And it was just a fun time at the theater. I sat down, I laughed a couple of times. That's what the movie's goal was, and it succeeded at its goal. The thing is, even though the 3rd act wasn't terrible, I am still suffering from major superhero fatigue. I sat back in this movie. I didn't even want to see this movie. I was not excited for it at all. And I sat back and was like, okay, this is cool, but it's running a bit too long. And it's one of those movies that you leave the theater and you feel exhausted, like it even ran for too long. It had so much stuff going on. And it's enjoyable to sit down and watch, but you just feel your body just being exhausted after watching this movie. Too much stuff was happening in this film. So I just sat back and I was like, okay. Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a fun movie for families. You could totally watch this one. It's got some good parts. But overall, I'm just suffering from major superhero fatigue to where every superhero movie doesn't seem all that good to me anymore. Hopefully I don't suffer the same thing with Guardians 3. In 4th place, I have to give it to Murder Mystery Part 2. And in a way, this is another one of those movies, and I don't know if it was because I was sick as heck watching this, but this was another one of those movies that you could definitely feel your body getting exhausted while watching it. Because this movie has so much stuff going on to where it's also very fun, though. It's like not in Shazam to where I felt super exhausted. This movie was still fun. I still enjoyed 95% of this movie. I think it was very fun. The comedy it worked. The chemistry between Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, it worked. The chemistry between everybody worked. The characters weren't as interesting as they were in the first Murder Mystery, if you can call the characters in Murder Mystery interesting as well. But they're cool. The mystery, I wanted to know what happened in the mystery. I just think that this movie right here is just a fun movie to watch. It's got a lot of fun sequences. It's got a lot of energetic sequences. And sure, when I left it, I did feel a bit exhausted. In fact, I made my review, I think, exactly after I watched this movie. And I said that it was the better of the 2. I think that changes a little bit. I think number 1 is better than 2, mainly just because of like I said, the amount of exhaustion I felt. Like, this movie had a lot of things going on, to where at the end of it, it's a big action fight scene on top of the skyscraper. Like, this movie was ridiculous, but that doesn't mean it wasn't fun. And Murder Mystery Part 2 was a fun movie to just sit down on a Monday night and watch it on Netflix. Spoiler alert, Monday nights are basically my Saturdays. Number 3, we got Creed 3. And this movie, hands down, is the best of the franchise until the final 30 minutes. Movie, the first hour and 15 was amazing. It was exploring what happened to Adonis after he retires, which he brings back the gym, and he's the manager of the gym. It explores his past, his relationships in the past, and how he doesn't want to explore them, and you're invested in that. You want to know what happens next. We go down some interesting plot lines for the characters. He's got a daughter, and his relationship with his daughter is very cute. I flipping love this movie all the way up to the final 30 minutes, and when it got to the final 30 minutes, I sat back and I was like, okay, what are we doing here? Because it takes the moment he invites the villain Damien to go fight in the ring, the moment he does that, training montage, final fight scene, movie over. 30 minutes. That's all it was. We did not explore anything else. It's like all the plot lines got resolved in the first hour and 15 minutes, and then we moved to the 30 minutes, and this movie just completely is like, we got to get this movie over. Let's go. And that makes this franchise, the Creed franchise, start to feel like the earlier Rocky sequels, where Rocky 1 and 2, obviously they go together, but the rest of the movies are basically just fun little boxing movies thrown out there. And that's what this franchise is starting to become. That's what the Creed franchise is starting to become. And I do not like how that is, because Creed 3 has some of the best stuff this entire Rocky franchise has. I was hands down ready to put it at my number 1 in the ranking, and then the last 30 minutes come, and I found myself getting bored because of how fast they get through it. And sure, this is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut. Everybody makes mistakes. It's fine. But that was just a pretty big mistake. Got me way turned off from this movie. Made it as one of my, I wouldn't say weaker films, but I'd say more disappointing films. Now, obviously, when this comes to Blu-ray, I'm definitely probably going to rent it, and I think I'm going to binge Creed 1 and Creed 3, see which one's better, and hopefully I enjoy Creed 3, the third act, just a little bit more than I actually did. But for now, it has a great first 2 acts, but then the third act just gets way too sped up for me. Second place, our runner-up, Scream 6. And this was my number 1 until a couple of days ago when I saw my number 1. If you've seen my last video, you will know what it is. But Scream 6, the movie that I was anticipating, my most anticipated horror movie of the year. I am a major Scream fan. I know I'm wearing a Halloween shirt. Halloween is not my favorite horror franchise. It is Scream, because every single movie is at least good and enjoyable to watch. However, this movie, as a part of the franchise, is definitely one of the weaker ones. And I know I can say that because I love this franchise, and I know it doesn't really downgrade it, but compared to, this is number 5 on my ranking, compared to what 4, 3, 2, and 1 is, this movie is just compared to be good. And I left the theater. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I think it's a very fun Scream movie. I think it does a lot of things well. I love the new 5. I love those characters. And I really didn't leave the theater like, that was disappointing. I left the theater like, that was a good movie. I really enjoyed that one. But sitting about it and sitting in the car on my drive home, when I was driving home from the movie, me and my brother got to talking. We saw it together. We were like, yeah, that was a good Scream movie, but where were the kills? This movie completely abandons the kills and the nature of it, to where the Ghostface is like, I'm gonna kill you. We think this character's dead, and I swear you not. 5 times in this movie, I sat back and I was like, oh, I didn't want that character to die. Oh, good thing he's back alive. They did not kill off any core characters. And you know what that makes it start to feel like? It starts to feel like this movie is not dangerous at all. It starts to feel like these Ghostfaces are easily the worst Ghostfaces, to where I sat back and was like, eventually I was like, okay, I know she's not dead. They wouldn't kill her off. And I sat back, I was just like, okay, that's ridiculous. And it just definitely downgraded the movie. Now, that it didn't destroy my experience with the film. I sat back, I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I think it's a very fun Scream movie. Well, like I said, I like the core 4 here. And seriously, this movie is just a nice, fun Scream movie. It's okay. I enjoyed watching it. That's all I needed to do was enjoy watching it. But definitely within the Scream franchise, this is one of the most flawed and kind of just not as great as all the other movies. if I was going to rewatch another Scream movie, I would rewatch 4, 5, 1, or 2, rather than I'd rather rewatch this one. So, it's still a good movie. It definitely has some flaws, though. But first place, easily for me, out of March, my first place movie, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. I saw this one about 3-4 days ago, and originally I had no hype for it. I heard played the Dungeons and Dragons games. I have never seen the original movie. I don't know a thing about this movie. The only thing I knew about it was that the cast was really good. That's it. And then the trailers came out, and I saw it, and I was like, that looks fun, but I'm definitely not going to go to the theater to see it. And then what changed my mind was the reviews came out, and the reviews were hands down saying this was the biggest surprise of the year. It was fun, it was funny, it was enjoyable. So I decided to go out and see it, and I hands down did have a blast with this movie. Not only is this cast so good, Chris Pine has great chemistry with everybody. Everybody else here is very good. Justice Smith, surprisingly, a big highlight, and I do like Justice Smith, but I did not think I would like him as I do in this movie as I did. Everybody here is great, and the script is also written really good. The comedy is really well done, and especially because of the big blockbuster cast, and they all have excellent chemistry with each other, that just makes me laugh, and it was so funny. And originally, when I saw the movie, I was like, that's the direction we're taking? I was like, no, I don't like that. But the movie eventually grew on me. The reason that the movie grew on me was because I sat back and I was like, yeah, it doesn't feel like an end of the world movie, but it's not about the main story. It's about the journey, how we get there. And the journey was fun. It was funny. It was energetic. It was enjoyable. This is the #1 family film of the year. I think it'll be the #1 film for families of the year, and I think it will remain that way. Dungeons and Dragons is just a big blast. And also, the fight chemistry is very good. There's some horror elements. There's literally something in here for everybody. So, I cannot stress enough. You guys need to see this movie. It's very fun. And so, yeah, that was all 5 of the March 2023 movies I have seen. Tell me down below, what movies have you seen? How would you rank them? I got a couple other videos coming up. I know I've been so far behind. I got to review Mandalorian Season 3, which, surprisingly, I still haven't finished. I'm still on Episode 7. But anyways, I got a bunch of videos coming up. With that said, subscribe, join the Nerd Army. Peace out.